back for more on the Web Insurance Countdown to Kickoff on 1150 WIMA. Todd Walker here, Jason Aldrich, Mike Miller with me as well. Round table time and time to review last week's picks.
Let's not.
Well, yeah.
What happened?
I agree.
I don't recall at all. I'm curious.
Oh, lay down. There we go. Last week we had Salina at Wapakoneta. Walker and Miller went with the Redskins. We were correct. Jason took Salina. He was incorrect. But, of course, as Mike would say, well, yeah, but it was a 4th and 35. I mean, otherwise it would have been a win.
No question.
I'm not going to apologize.
Yeah.
That's something like that.
Yeah.
Also,
I would say that, actually.
Defiance at OG.
Because it's true.
Miller had Defiance. He was correct. Aldrich and Walker went with the Titans, and we took a bath. Bluffton at Ada. Some moron picked Bluffton. You two had Ada. You guys win. LCC at Jefferson. Miller with the Jeff Cats. The other two idiots were wrong.
Yeah.
St. Francis at Lima Senior. Walker with some redemption. I had St. Francis, as did Jason. Miller took the Spartans. So, tough week for Messrs. Aldrich and Walker. Each 2 and 3. That's 2 and 3.
Ooh.
Miller, another standout week at 4 and 1, has vaulted to the lead.
I go 4 and 1, and I hung with Lima Senior too. How about that?
He is 19 and 6 at the midpoint. Aldrich at 17 and 8. Yours truly at 16 and 9. So
it's wide
some
open.
ground to make up.
It's still wide open.
It's still pretty open. Let's get to this week's picks, and we start with the Spartans and the Trojans from Findlay tonight. Lima Senior, after that wild 72-61 loss to St. Francis, will take on the Trojans tonight in Findlay. Jason, the former Findlay resident, will let you go first.
And this one is a coin toss game.
That figures.
Yes. Home team, heads, Findlay. Tails team is Lima Senior. Let's see who it brings up. Tails, I'm going with the Spartans.
All right, Miller, what do you think?
You know, I frankly, I'm going with the Spartans also. I was praising their offense a little bit earlier. I don't think that 61 was a fluke last week. I think they genuinely really do have the package offensively, and I have to believe that Findlay isn't near a threat to score. And they haven't been this year as Toledo St. Francis. So I think the Spartans are going to snap the streak against Findlay. It's like 10 in a row or something. Plus at Donnell, it's the field turf, so it's utterly fair. It's not really much of a home field advantage. I think the Spartans are somehow going to manage to outscore Findlay and surprise everybody and win this game.
Well, I'm much with the same feeling I was last week. I think this is going to be a hell of a game. I think it's going to be back and forth, but I think Findlay's going to win. Let's move on to game number 2 in our picks this week. We go into the Northwest Conference. It's Crestview at Jefferson. Knights are 4 and 1. Their only loss coming to the Wayne Trace juggernaut. Jefferson at 5 and 0 for head coach Bub Lindeman, coming off the huge win over Lima Central Catholic. And as these go in the NWC, this is a tough one for me, but I got to get on the Jeff Cat train. I'm going with Bub's boys. I'll take Jefferson tonight. Jason, what do you think?
You know, if this game were at Crestview, I may go that way, but I'm with you, Todd. I'm on the Jefferson bandwagon as well. They proved me wrong last week. Hopefully they'll prove me right this week. I'm taking the Jeff Cats.
Michael, Knights, Cats.
Yeah, it's Cats. Really no dissension here, fellas. Jefferson until they lose, and I think after their win last week against Lima Central Catholic, they're really keyed up. So and I haven't heard about any injuries or anything. And you were right last week, Todd. Jettinghoff is the quarterback for Delphus Jefferson. He also is a prominent running back for Delphus St. John.
Right.
So that name is all over the lot, and kind of like Hoying down in Mercer County with quarterbacks. So I like Jettinghoff and the Jeff Cats.
Bazard, Jettinghoff, Jeff Cats, Bub Lindeman. It's all good for the Jefferson Wildcats tonight. It's not a league game anymore, but it still means a bunch to NWC teams when they play Lima Central Catholic tonight at Lima Stadium. T-Birds, Spencerville Bearcats. T-Birds are backed into a corner for their playoff hopes at 3 and 2. Bearcats at 4 and 1, and last couple of years they've been 8 and 2 and left out in the cold because they haven't been able to beat Lima Central Catholic. Can they turn the trick this year? T-Birds getting a little healthier up front. They think they get Darius West in the lineup for the first time this season. Mike, what do you think?
I think the T-Birds are so much up against it that tonight is really this is for the playoffs. they lose tonight, they don't go to the playoffs. But Spencerville's in sort of the same boat. Spencerville's going to bring it, but I believe at this point, Lima Central Catholic still with too many weapons, guys that can break big plays here and there. I think it's going to be a great matchup. But ultimately, unless Spencerville can force a few turnovers and control the ball, Lima Central Catholic's going to bounce back. I'm taking Central Catholic.
Jason, LCC Spencerville.
I'm going to go to the coin in the pockets. I'm going to put it away.
Oh!
LCC wins tonight.
Look out. All these with authority. You know, this game sets up, if you look at the template to beat LCC, Spencerville fits the template perfectly. A power running game. They control the football. I think LCC's got a lot of weapons, but I'm going to go with my gut I think Spencerville's going to beat them tonight. I think the T-Birds are reeling. I think Spencerville is surging, and they have the perfect recipe to beat LCC.
I don't disagree.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to make of LCC right now. You can talk about injuries, and they haven't had Darius West, but something's missing. And I think Spencerville's ready to pounce. I'm going to take the Bearcats tonight at Lima Stadium. Also tonight, Wapakoneta at Defiance. Key WBL game. Both teams are 3-1 in the league. From Fred Brown Stadium tonight, Mike will have the call on WZRX 107.5. What say you?
I say that if field conditions stay okay, and as we record this on Friday afternoon, it's been a wet day. To some degree, and that makes me nervous heading up into Defiance. Defiance, primarily a passing team. If the field conditions aren't so good, I would think it's Defiance's advantage. If they are, Wapakoneta, much more powerful juggernaut on the ground. In fact, Defiance is next to last in the league in rushing. I'm going to say the field conditions will survive, and Wapakoneta is going to win a low-scoring, close game with some Defiance turnovers, as in INTs being the real key. I'm taking Wapakoneta.
Jason, what do you got?
Man, this one is really tough, and boy, I think you go with the home team when it comes down to that. If you don't want to go with the coin, which I won't, so I'll take Defiance. They proved me wrong last week up at OG.
Yeah, Defiance games have really flummoxed yours truly. As I look back to week 2, I picked Elida over them. That backfired. Last week I took OG over Defiance. That backfired. Fool me once, shame on me. Shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me thrice, I'm a moron. I'm still picking Wapakoneta tonight on the road, and I could be a moron. It's happened before.
What a gutsy individual you are, Todd.
Our broadcast game tonight is Elida at Shawnee. The Indians 2-3. After getting whacked by Kenton, Elida's 3-2. They've beaten the bottom feeders of the WBL the last 2 weeks, St. Mary's and Van Wert, although not all that convincingly. Mike, what do you say tonight? Elida Shawnee.
I'll tell you, this is a tough game. I think Shawnee might be a little stronger up front. Elida's struggled with the interior of their football team, and they've had some other turmoil, actually. Shawnee, on the other hand, is a team that has been close. Their 2-3 record belies the fact they've been close in 2 or 3 of those other games, including their losses. And it's been a tough schedule. I think Marion Local was their non-conference game, and nobody's touching Marion Local.
1-point loss at OG in week 3.
So I'm going to have to go with Shawnee, if for no other reason than they have the all-meat hot dogs over there. And I don't eat hot dogs unless they're all meat hot dogs.
I gotcha.
And Shawnee's got it figured out, so I'm picking Shawnee.
Based on the culinary offerings at Shawnee Stadium, Miller goes with the Indians. Jason, I assume you'll have a different criteria.
Well, and you have the gall to get on me for calling games on the coin. He's calling them with hot dogs. Ridiculous.
All meat hot dogs.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's the only kind I'll eat.
What say you then?
Yeah, I'm going to go, I just think Elida's got the better offensive tools and strategy here, so I'll go with Elida in this one.
Yeah, I like Elida too. Shawnee's a little banged up. I think Elida's figured some things out. They've started running the quarterback more, whether it's Etzler or Alexander, and I like Elida tonight to win at Shawnee. And that wraps up our Web Insurance Countdown to Kickoff Roundtable section. Coming up next, we'll preview the big games with a number of area coaches. Later on, we'll talk with TV44's Mark Coons as we get closer to Elida and Shawnee tonight on 1150 WIMA.